Hello and welcome to my YouTube page, Mr. Mike's Music Method LLC. I am Mr. Mike. My name is Michael James Taylor. I have been teaching successfully for 15 years. I teach piano, music, I teach music theory, I teach composition, and I also teach voice lessons. I also help students get prepared for ABRSM examinations. I ask that you please visit my website, www.mrmikesmusicmethod.com. That's all lowercase MrMikesmusicmethod.com. www.mrmikesmusicmethod.com. You can find more details about teaching and my teaching style and personal background and things like that. I believe I mentioned it before, but I'm going to say so again. I've been teaching for 15 years. I started, I believe it was on Wednesdays, one day a week, and was teaching maybe a handful, 5 or 6 students weekly. And eventually I grew to teaching 75 students a week. That's right, I was teaching 75 individual lessons a week. I was teaching about 10 students a day, Sunday to Sunday, and I loved every moment of it. Fortunately, I was able to grow on my own. I now have my own business, Mr. Mike's Music Method, LLC, and I teach in-home lessons in Morris County, New Jersey, and I teach students who are out of county virtually, okay? I can even teach, if you live in Texas or whatever, I can teach you. Okay, this particular tutorial is geared towards John Thompson's Easiest Piano Course Part 1, okay? I'm going to show you the cover of that now. John Thompson's Easiest Piano Course Part 1. I call it the Red Book, and I also call it the Monster Book. So I refer to these as Monster Book 1 and Monster Book 2. That's a different tutorial playlist, okay? So when you come on to my site, my YouTube site, Mr. Mike's Music Method LLC, make sure you go to the playlist that says John Thompson Book 1, Monster Book 1, and look for weekly tutorials covering all of the material in John Thompson's Monster Book 1, okay? So we have a lot to talk about today, so I want to get right into it, okay? We're going to be learning about middle C, okay? We're going to be learning about whole notes and counting. Counting is the most important rule in music. Basically, what I want to do right now is I kind of want to show you where middle C is on the piano. Okay, it's right here. Now, the best way to find it, I find, is to look for the name brand of the instrument, Yamaha, Casio, Wurlitzer, whatever, and find the name of that brand and locate middle C. Now, if you have a full-size keyboard, you have C, this one is 0, C0, C1, C2, now this is C3. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 from the bottom, including C0. If you have a 61 note keyboard, it is C1, 2, 3. So it's the third from the bottom, okay? All right, let's look at the material first, and then I will start demonstrating the tutorial. Here we have Lesson 1, John Thompson, Book 1, Easiest Piano Course. This is the very first song in the book, okay? Actually, I think I'm showing you the wrong page. Sorry. Yes, page 8. Sorry, I was showing you page 9. That's the next tutorial. Same thing, though. The only difference is that this, page 8, there it is, page 8, this is for the right hand, okay? Now, look closely. I went ahead and I colored in all of the C's light red. I would suggest, if you want to use the color method, that you start with colored pencils first. And if your student or child is feeling comfortable with the color method, then you can move to colored highlighters. Don't use markers. Don't use them, okay? You could also use crayons as well, whatever. If they feel that, or if you find that they feel that the colors are overwhelming or too much, get rid of them. But I do encourage you to write the letter of each note at the beginning before it occurs, as well as how many beats each note gets. So the numbers are within 2 parentheses, which means that this note is held for 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's all very basic stuff. I won't get into time signatures and clefs right now. We're just going to worry about right hand and left hand. I find that the material at the beginning of the book can be very overwhelming for a new student. I do usually trace, especially if they're a young child, I trace their fingers and hands on, let me see if I can find it, this page here, just inside of the cover page, you know, right hand, left hand, I trace them out and then I write the finger numbers in. So finger number 1 is your thumb for both hands. This is finger number 1. And finger number 5 is your pinky for both hands. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're like a mirror, okay? All right, so let's get back to the lesson. We're going to talk about playing the notes and technique and how to keep the subject's eyes on the material, because that's also very tricky, especially if they're 5. 6, 7, 8 years old, starting this book, especially 8 years old, they're going to take off right away. 5-year-old girls and boys are different. The boys, I find, have a little more difficulty than the girls, but it's not exactly that for every case, but most times the boys find it a little bit harder, okay? So what we want to do is we want to take the right hand and curve it so that so that our fingers look like we're holding a ball, okay? And we're going to move just the thumb up and down like this, okay? Now, this is a very difficult motor skill for most 5-year-olds, male and female. They try to do this. Some of them grab underneath the piano and press like that. You know, those are the two, like, see, some do this, where they lift the whole hand, but the thumb, we should teach the thumb right away to be independent of all of the other fingers, okay? So we're going to quickly go through the tutorial. As I play, I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, it is very important that the student demonstrates consistency right from the beginning. If they're doing this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're not really counting consistently, stop what they're doing and have them do it again from the beginning. Now, if they find the motor skill difficult, you can close the book, use the front and the back. I like to use the back. Have them place their right hand on the book and try to teach them to just move that thumb up and down. Now, if they find difficulty in 2 weeks and they don't get it, that's totally normal. 3 weeks, 4 weeks is pushing it. If it's the same thing for like 4 or more weeks, 6 weeks is a lot. If they're still having the same difficulty after 6 weeks, I really would suggest stopping lessons for now and then resuming when they're a little bit older. Maybe 6 months, maybe 9 months, maybe a year older, they can revisit, okay? I had a student last summer, and he's just turned 5, and he couldn't get the concept of moving this thumb because he's never done it before. You got to remember, a child has, you know, most children don't know how to do that, okay? They know how to do this or like this, okay? So again, if they're getting frustrated, please stop lessons. The worst thing you can do is force it, and then they feel pressured, and they start to resent it, and they may never go back to music lessons ever again. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you have any comments or questions, please leave those at the, the comment section. You can subscribe and look for the next video, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much, and bye.